You're watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports. Mitchell Renz here, ready to take you through the top 50 players after Week 10, according to Pro Football Focus. Now, we're going to go from 50. We're going to work our way all the way down to 1. But we do get asked a lot of times, hey, what do you guys think about PFF grades? I always say they're not the end-all, be-all, but I do at least find them at least somewhat interesting. Let's start here. Number 50, working our way down to 46. Davante Campbell, the Green Bay Packers. Tony Pollard, ranked higher than Zeke. Thought that was interesting. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, 2 quarterbacks back-to-back there. And then at number 46, Jonathan Taylor with an 85.0 grade. So basically, if you want to get in the top 50, you better be over 84. I did find Jonathan Taylor being at 46 actually a little bit low. I've been very impressed by the way he's been able to run the football. He's got 937 yards. Derrick Henry, for what it's worth, is actually the 14th rated running back, even though he's an absolute monster. Nick Chubb, Zeke, Dalvin Cook. Right now, here are your top 5 rushing leaders after 10 weeks. What about 45 through 41? CeeDee Lamb ranked higher than Amari Cooper. And then there's his quarterback, Dak Prescott. Tyreek Hill, a very impressive grade. I also saw a really cool stat on Tyreek. He's the only player in the NFL since, I believe, 2016 or 2017 that has more than 20 catches of 40-plus yards. Corey Linsley's been a phenomenal addition this season. And then Kyler Murray, the 2 people that I want to take a little bit of a deeper dive at, Dak Prescott and Murray. I mean, these are top 2 quarterbacks right now in the league. I'd probably put them both in the top 5. But if you had to look at just their seasons and their seasons alone, Murray has missed a game, and Dak has missed a game. Completion percentage, the fact that both of these dudes are over 70, very impressive. Passing yards, advantage Dak. Touchdowns, advantage Dak. INTs, but QBR, that is advantage Kyler because of the running game for what he's able to bring overall to that offense. Now, when you're looking at both of these quarterbacks here, one of the questions that I do want to be able to go ahead and bring up here is, who do you think's the better quarterback? Do you think it's Dak Prescott? Do you think it's Kyler Murray? I mean, both are unbelievable, and again, I think could be in the front-running conversation of NFL MVP. But let me know down in the comments section. I want you to type KM for Kyler Murray, or I want you to go ahead and type DK Donkey Kong for Dak Prescott. Let's go to 40 through 36. DJ Reader, another very good addition here for the Cincinnati Bengals. Josh Allen, so we got 2 Allens here on this list. Von Miller and Allen. Still weird looking at Von, seeing that Rams logo. Frank Ragnow, the 2nd highest rated center according to PFF. And then Dallas Goedert coming in at 86.3. I've always been a big fan of Goedert. I've always said for a long time that I thought he's better than Zach Ertz. And the fact that he can block and pass catch, find himself in the top 50. So I want you guys to let me know, because when you look at a lot of PFF grades, sometimes people are like, all right, so the number 1 player on this list, he's the best player in the NFL right now. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but Chat Sports is about the interaction. So please go ahead, let me know who is the best player in the NFL right now. Coming in at number 35, Randy Gregory, and unfortunately for him, he's going to be out a few weeks. He's dealing with an injury. Ogbo, he's coming in at 33, tied with Marcus Davenport. Mac Jones at 32. I mean, if we were looking at a top, easy over there, Jack. Justin Herbert's coming in at 31. This is the prime example. I think Mac Jones is having a very good season, but there is no way you could tell me that he's a top 5 NFL quarterback. And yet, according to PFF, he's a top 5 NFL quarterback. Now, if anybody out there wants to bet on any NFL game this upcoming week for the entire season, if you want to bet on NBA, guess what? We got an awesome deal going on with our sports book partner, BetUS. How do you get the deal? You got to go to chatsports.com/bet. Promo code NFL Daily. It's going to get you 125% deposit bonus. So for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, if you actually deposit $100, you're going to get $125 for free to bet with. And if the 125% deposit bonus isn't good enough of a deal, what about if I throw a free NFL jersey on top of that? Now, this is for first-time BetUS users only. All you got to do is get started by going to chatsports.com/bet, using the promo code, and then put down, I don't know, a $5 bet on whatever the hell you want. And then I want you to send me your account number and a bet, because I went 2-3 last week, so I could use a little bit of help. But seriously, email me, jersey@chatsports.com, for the details. The jersey deal is from Chat Sports. It's not from BetUS, so don't reach out and ask them about it. You can come find us. Again, go get started with our sportsbook partner. We're going to hook you up with a free NFL jersey. Let's go 30 through 26 now. Antonio Brown still being able to get it done. Wyatt Teller, one of the best offensive guards in the league. We got a 2-way tie then between teammates with Nick Bosa, George Kittle. I still think when Bosa is healthy, He's one of the best edge rushers in the league. George Kittle, I think, is the most complete tight end in the league. The only reason why he does not the number one guy over Travis Kelce to me is because Kittle can't stay healthy. But if you want to talk about all-around talent, the ability to block, Kittle's definitely up there. The second highest rated cornerback in the league according to PFF is Rashad Fenton. I think Fenton's a good player. He's having a good season. But again, he's not the second best cornerback in the National Football League. The best cornerback in the league, which this is somewhere where I agree, is Jalen Ramsey, and he's the highest rated corner on this list at 87.7. Deebo Samuel at number 24. He's had himself a hell of a year. Calais Campbell, Amani Hooker, and then Michael Owenu, offensive tackle for the Patriots. The player that I want to take a little bit of a deeper dive on is Deebo Samuel, and I've been kind of pounding my fist on the table here for weeks saying, hey man, Deebo deserves to be in this conversation of one of the best receivers in the league, and you got a little bit of a flash of that this past week when they took down the Rams. He's got 86 targets, 51 grabs, 979 yards, 5 touchdowns through the air. But what's really making him kind of one of the most fun players to watch right now is how Kyle Shanahan is literally doing whatever he possibly can to put the ball in his hands. He had his 11 carries, 58 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns this season. When you're getting used that way, I really think it at least deserves to ask the question, do you guys really truly believe that Deebo Samuel is a top 5 wide receiver right now? Because when you're getting used the amount that he is, he's top 3 in the NFL in receiving yards, top 2 actually, I believe, behind only Cooper Kupp. So what do you think? Deebo Samuel, I'm asking everyone watching right now, is he a top 5 wide receiver? I want you to type T5 for top 5, or if you want to go ahead and type NT for not top 5, hey, guess what? I'm going to be looking. I think he might be top 5, guys. Let's go to 20 through 16 now. Here are my PFF top 50 player ratings. Cooper Kupp at 89.4. I mean, right now what he's been able to do is just absolutely silly good. Ryan Tannehill, 89.5. Mark Andrews, he's graded out as the highest rated tight end in the league. Joel Bitonio, he just got himself a nice fat new contract. And then TJ Watt at number 16 with an 89.8. Let's look at some of these tight ends, though, because when you think about it, Mark Andrews is the highest rated guy. George Kittle, even though he's not on this list here of the most receiving yards amongst tight ends, I think we'd all agree George Kittle is by far a top 3 tight end. But Travis Kelce didn't make the list. Easily leads the league amongst tight ends and receiving yards. Mike Gesicki's having a good year. Kyle Pitts, the rookie's putting on a show, and he's really been able to take over in that offense without Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. And then Darren Waller at 494. So what do y'all think? Who's the best tight end in the league? I mean, I feel like if I asked this question, most people would say Travis Kelce, and I would agree with you. I think Travis Kelce is the best tight end in the league, but this is where PFF at times, I think, outsmarts themselves. They run numbers, they do these calculations, they're like, okay, Mark Andrews is the best tight end in the league. I'm sorry, I'm going to disagree with you. I also don't think that Travis Kelce's not a top 50 player. Watch NFL. He's a top 50 player. Let's get in now to my top 15. Jonathan Allen has been an absolute wrecking ball in the defensive line, and it's a shame that that team has been as bad as what they have been on the defensive side of the football. Cordell Patterson has been probably one of the coolest stories of the entire year. Creed Humphrey, Kevin Byard, also shout out to the Titans for having the 2 highest graded safeties, according to PFF, with Byard and Hooker. And then Deonta Harris. This is another prime example. Deonta Harris isn't the second best wide receiver in the NFL, and I'm sorry, but that's breaking news. But I do want to give some love to Patterson, who is kind of reminding me of like what Percy Harvin used to kind of be for the Minnesota Vikings, and he was just this all-around Swiss Army knife type of player. What Atlanta has been able to do has been the perfect blend of what Patterson is good at. He's got 303 rushing yards, 473 receiving yards, 7 total touchdowns this season. Major shout out to Patterson, a major shout out to Atlanta for using him in a very creative way. It's time now to get into the top 10. Davante Adams comes in at 90.8, and again, I agree with this one. I think he's the best receiver in the National Football League. Kirk Cousins at 90.8. I will give Kurt some credit because statistically, he's been a very good quarterback. But does anybody out there think that Kirk Cousins is the second best quarterback in the league? I'll answer that for you. No. Tom Brady at age 44, he's still killing it, 90.9. Myles Garrett at 92.0. And then Aaron Donald is tied for 5th, and we'll tell you who he's tied with here in just a second. But let's look at some of these passing touchdowns. Tom Brady leads the NFL right now with 27. Patrick Mahomes at 25 after just a phenomenal game up against the Raiders. Matthew Stafford comes in at 24. Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, both tied at 20. So what do y'all think? Tom Brady, he's the highest rated quarterback according to PFF this season, but do you think he's the best quarterback? I mean, Patrick Mahomes didn't make the list. Dak Prescott was on it. Joe Burrow was on it. Stafford didn't make the list. What do y'all think? What about Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson? I mean, I think both of those guys could definitely be in the MVP discussion as well. I want you to sound off. Let me know down in the comments who is the best cornerback in the NFL right now. It's time now to get into the top 5 players according to PFF. Max Crosby at 92.3 has been an absolute monster. He's got 63 total pressures. There's not another NFL player that has over 50. Cameron Hayward, still one of the best in the biz to do it. Tyrone Smith, Zach Martin, both offensive linemen for the Dallas Cowboys. And then Trent Williams. Trent Williams' grade of 97.8 is redunculous. Even Zach Martin's 94.8 is so ridiculous. And if you're wondering, Mitch, how good is that? I went back and I looked in the PFF archives, and here are the 5 highest grades that PFF has ever given out. Aaron Donald and Jonathan Ogden, they're tied for 95.0. Tom Brady at 94.9 he had back in 2016. Evan Mathis got a 94.9 in 2013. And then Aaron Rodgers last season, 94.5. So technically, Zach Martin, he would actually be in that top 5. And Trent Williams would shatter the record if he continued his pace at 97.8. And this man is also 33 years old. It's mind-blowing to me. So can he do it? Will Trent Williams break the PFF grade record? I want you to let me know. Y for yes and for no. The record, again, was set by Ogden and set by Aaron Donald at 95.0. Currently sitting at 97.8. Y for yes and for no.